Hey friends, it's Corey from Hey Let's Make Stuff. This is the second episode of Small Business Saturday where I'm giving you bite-sized tips to help you grow your small craft business. Today we're talking all about finding a niche. So I think this is one of the most important things you can do when you're running a small craft business, and a lot of people get it wrong. So we're going to talk about how to get it right in today's video. One of the biggest mistakes I see people making when they're running their small craft business is that they're trying to make too many disparate things. And I totally get it. I love making all sorts of crafts and I have so many ideas in my head of things that I could sell, but they don't all fall under one umbrella. And the problem is, if you have too broad of a product line, your ideal customers will not be able to find you. Let's say we're at a craft fair, and on one side of the market, there is someone who sells all the things she loves to make. So she has sublimated tumblers, stuff she's made with her laser, including engraved cutting boards. She has aprons because she likes to sew, and she also added crocheted animals to her lineup this time. And then across the way from her, there is a seller who only sells engraved cutting boards. Now, if somebody has shown up at that craft fair looking for an engraved cutting board, who do you think they're going to go to? Are they going to go to the person who has basically a flea market worth of stuff on one side, or are they going to go to the seller who has perfected their craft and makes these beautiful engraved cutting boards? I think that they're going to head to that cutting board seller, and that is because that cutting board seller, by niching down and just making engraved cutting boards, it means that they are seen more like an expert in their craft. And they'll seem way more trustworthy than someone who just has a random table of stuff. Will the cutting board vendor get fewer people to their booth? Probably. But will they make more sales? Definitely. All right, so what really is a niche? It's basically some sort of category that brings all of your products together. I like to look at a niche in two ways. So you can either niche down by the types of products that you make, or you can niche down by a theme for all of your products. There might be some overlap between these two types of niches, but it should help you not fall into that I'm selling everything trap. So let's start by talking about product. So that cutting board vendor that I mentioned, they are niched down by product. They have perfected their craft, and they might sell all sorts of different designs on cutting boards, but cutting boards are their niche. If you niche down by product, know that you're going to have to make the same thing over and over again. And for some artisans, this works really well. And I find this is particularly good for artisans who are making things with sort of natural materials. So maybe you are making pottery or ceramics. Maybe you are making clay earrings. Maybe you're a fiber artist, whether that's knitting or crochet or sewing. Niching down by product also helps you save money because you are not buying a bunch of different materials for a bunch of different projects. It's less expensive, it takes up less room, and overall, I think it's less overwhelming. If you head to my blog, I have a big long list of different niches by product if you'd like to check those out. Then we have niching down by theme. My handmade business, Chapter in Craft, is niched down by theme, and that theme is books. I sell a wide variety of projects, but they all have a book theme. So you can get tumblers and bookmarks and tote bags and stickers and all sorts of things at my booth. However, all of them are geared toward a woman in her 30s and 40s who loves to read, who loves to watch Book Talk on TikTok and Bookstagram on Instagram, and I want her to feel when she enters my booth like she has found a friend. She's found somebody who she wants to start a book club with. This is sort of my target demographic, and because I have that niche of books, I can make a lot of things within that niche, but I still have that sort of overarching umbrella of a theme. I think niching down by theme is really great for those of you who want to just make a bunch of different types of things. If you do have that cohesive look to everything, then it's not going to look so much like a yard sale. And again, if you want to see a list of product niches by theme, you can head over to my blog where I have a nice list for you. So now we have either product or theme, and now let's talk about a few other things that go into picking a niche. The next thing you want to do is find something popular. And I mean this in a broad sense of what's popular both in pop culture and the world, and what's popular with your audience. So for me, I know that Taylor Swift is hugely popular with my particular audience, but she's not book themed. So I took my signature book stack style and did that for her albums. The image itself looks like the rest of my products, but it's specifically geared toward those women who love Taylor Swift, and products with that image on them are some of my best sellers. But while Taylor Swift is enormously popular in pop culture and the world, she may not be popular with your audience. For example, my mom actually sells handbags on Etsy and at craft fairs, and Taylor Swift is just not really on the radar of most of her customers. But she's starting to look more and more about what's really popular with her customers. So for example, she likes making purses out of old flour sack tea towels, things with like cherries, that sort of retro feel, and those sell really quickly. She's appealing to the nostalgia of her older audience, and people absolutely love them. In addition to looking at what's popular, you'll also want to try and create a connection with your customers. So yes, all of my products are book themed, but I'm also a huge reader. I will probably read 120 books this year. And so when someone comes into my booth and they pick up a product, we can bond over the fact that we've both read those books. And I don't know, it's just really lovely to be able to have a conversation about books with somebody who I know enjoys the same things I do. And this connection piece can work for most niches. I was recently at a craft fair and I was chatting with a honey seller, and she was telling me about some of the problems we were having with the bees in our area and some of the stuff that was in her products. And it was just a really interesting conversation, and we sort of bonded over bees. Even though I'm not like super interested into bees, I found it to be a really interesting conversation. And so I ended up taking her card and I ended up buying 3 jars of honey from her. If you are selling a whole bunch of products and you don't really have a niche, it becomes much harder to connect with your customer, and it becomes more just a sale or transaction. And I really think, especially in person when we're doing markets, one of the best reasons to do markets is to bring that community feel. All right, so how do you find your niche? We're gonna start by looking at your skills and passions. First, you want to take into account what you love to make. So for some people, this is going to be obvious. You're a ceramicist, so you're gonna make ceramics. But there are a lot of people, especially in my audience, who probably have a wide range of things that they would love to make. So I want you to really think about what you like to do and what you're good at. Just because you can make it doesn't mean you can make it well, and you really wanna make it well if you're going to sell it. Next, you wanna make sure you are passionate about your craft. Are there parts of my small business that I don't love? Of course, but for the most part, I really enjoy making everything I sell in my shop. And then I want you to look at the rest of your life and see if there's something else there that you can pull in to really make it a solid niche. For me, it's my love of reading books. For you, it might be your pets, or the fact that you love to ride motorcycles, or the fact that you love to travel. Maybe it's your background as a teacher or a therapist. There are ways that you can take those personal elements about yourself, put them into your craft, and create a really beautiful niche. Step 2 is we are going to research our market. So a lot of people talk about their ideal customer. I do want you to find your ideal customer. I want to know exactly who you're speaking to. What does she buy? What's her income? What kind of TV does she watch? All of these different things can help you create a picture in your head of the ideal person you're selling to. But you also need an audience. So maybe you make pink dinosaur ballerinas. That's great. There might be one person out there that collects pink dinosaur ballerinas. Yeah, they're your ideal customer, but only one of those people exists. It doesn't matter if you have an ideal customer if there aren't very many of them. So as you're thinking about your niche, research your market. Go onto Etsy, go onto Google, and just start researching what sort of products are selling in this space. What are people charging? Who is making a lot of sales? What could you do better? You obviously don't want to copy anyone, but data is data, and with data we can make really smart business decisions. And then once you have that ideal customer or that ideal market, tailor everything to them. My bookish customers really like romance and fantasy a lot more than they like nonfiction and memoir. So my products are going to be sort of girly and fun and appeal to the women who I want to shop with me. Additionally, I want to challenge you to make a wide range of projects for a wide range of budgets. You could make the most beautiful glasswork, but if it's so expensive that nobody can afford it, that might be a problem. Think about making some mini art, so those ideal customers who can't actually afford your products can take a little piece of your artwork home with them. All right, step 3 is to find that niche. Basically, we are looking for the intersection between what you love to do and what can make you money. And this may take some trial and error. I did a ton of really cute engraved tumblers. They all are book themed for my first craft fair, and honestly, they were one of my worst selling products. I really thought this was going to be something that connected with my audience, and it just didn't. So while I still have some for my upcoming fairs, I'm just going to bring what I have, see if it sells. If something takes off, maybe I will keep making them, but if not, I'm going to focus on the products that are actually bringing in money. I also realized at the craft fairs I have done that there are a lot of kids, and that's something that I didn't really take into account when creating my booth. And I could just forget that, but kids like to read. So for my upcoming craft fairs, I'm focused on creating some small, lower value items that would really appeal to kids. I'm thinking stickers, friendship bracelets, and bookmarks. Just something so that when they see my booth is about books, they can get really excited about it too. Over time, you'll start to realize what your audience wants, whether it's through craft markets or through Etsy or another online retailer. You might want to broaden your niche just a little bit to capture more customers, or you might want to narrow it down a bit if it doesn't seem like your ideal customer is finding you. The most important thing here is to be flexible and be okay with failing. It's a business. It's going to have its ups and downs. You just need to kind of look at that data, look at what's going right, and do more of that. All right, I would love to brainstorm niche questions with you down in the comments. So if you are thinking about a particular niche, or you need troubleshooting, or you need some help on something, please leave me a comment. If you found this video inspiring or helpful, please give it a like. Follow my channel for more Small Business Saturday tips and tricks. I'll see you next time.